Hip hop opened the door wide open. You could be whatever you can envision, whatever you want to become. Hip hop is your culture. It's your flavor, it's your color, and your style.
Around 1985, we started noticing that things were changing. And then all of a sudden, people that I knew who weren't even into gangbanging, they started gangbanging. And so it just exploded like in one summer.
This is not what hip hop is about, bro.
The Run DMC show was the flashpoint.
We did a big concert in Long Beach. I heard this loud thud and I looked behind me and someone had gotten thrown over the rails upstairs and they were just laying there.
And it just made people rethink hip hop.
The atmosphere, right, at that time, 82, 83 for us kids, was an atmosphere of hip hop. We started rejecting the music of our parents at some level and wanted to create a movement, an ethos, for ourselves.
When this hip hop flavor explodes, I see it for the first time. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that it was labeled freedom. I knew it just opened a whole new world for me.
Hip hop has all these people, and we're all different, It still was like an underground thing. I didn't really know what my category was until hip hop became a culture. The DJ, the scrapping, and the breakdancing, and we all got under this umbrella. That's when I embraced what hip hop, what the moniker is.
All of a sudden, you can demonstrate this aggression without shooting or killing someone, without beating someone down. You're able to battle them and pop in rap. And you started seeing MCs starting to formulate rhyme patterns and lyrical compositions.
There was no geniuses in the beginning. Nobody was great in the beginning. We all were stumbling in the dark trying to figure our way through this thing, and some of us found the light faster than others.
It was escapism. In the beginning, you were escaping pain and welfare and the big yellow block cheeses that the government would give you and the blue chip stamps to go get yourself a toaster, and you were escaping suffering, man. You were escaping pressures and prejudice.
Most of us were just hustlers. That's what we did. We hustled to make money. That dances were how we made money.
The party life that you see, the early Uncle Jam's Army, the Wrecking Crew, were bringing thousands of people at Alpine Village, Shrine Auditorium.
They did not need a headlining act. It was just them. People paid just to come see Uncle Jam's Army up there on stage playing records.
And it's like I couldn't believe my eyes. It was thousands of kids. And there was no groups performing, it was just DJs. I had never seen that.
The swap meets were the places that we first got those songs. I mean, you go to a booth and you'd see a bunch of the cassettes in the 12 inches, and folks would play them, or they had a DJ there playing this stuff to kind of debut it, or you'd be walking around the swap meet and you hear the music and you gravitated towards it.
50,000 watt. AM stereo, KDAY, Santa Monica, Los Angeles.
When they offered me the job, I was at 1580 KDA Los Angeles. That was August of 1983. What I figured out is that you don't really need to go around to see what people are listening to. All you have to do is open your window. And so I opened my window and all I heard was Run DMC and Curtis Blow and anything Sugar Hill, and it was just blasting. But yet, I figured out that radio wasn't playing it. What the heck?
Wow. It just focuses by itself, huh?
Yes,
KD became a major force of hip hop.
I think a lot of the changes can be credited to Greg Mack.
Rap is the hottest thing going on in music. It's the hottest selling form of music going on right now, and it's the most expressionist type of music happening now. It's real. That's what rap is. It's reality. The essence of rap is creativity, uniqueness, originality, the future.
Greg Mack made it a point. He was like, yo, I have this platform. I have a way to play music. Therefore, I'm going to play the music of the streets.
K-Day has given a exposure to rap that a lot of stations are afraid to give. A lot of the rappers say K-Day is really the only black station left.
The people that we started at 1580 K-Day were NWA, Dr. Dre, Ice-T, Ice Cube, Queen Latifah, LL Cool J. It wasn't just a West Coast thing, but we had a lot of East Coast artists. Anybody that came out in the 80s and then most of the 90s, and many are still going, got their start through 1580 K-Day.
There was one point where you could literally go into the studio, make a cassette tape of something you just finished recording, take it to K-Day, they would cart it right up, and you driving home, you hearing it on the radio already. Like, it's not even released yet. What are y'all doing? But that's how the relationship was.
And if it was good, yes, before they would leave, that song would be on the radio. I had a totally open door policy.
They would do rhythms, and they would mix helicopter sounds. They would do railroad tracks. It was just amazing. On the microphone, battle raps, DJ Style was cutting it up. And KDAY was pumping out rap music 24/7.
Wrecking Crew, Uncle Jam's Army, we ran the streets. K-Day ran the airwaves.
So around 1985, we started noticing that things were changing in the community. And then all of a sudden, people that I knew who weren't even into gangbanging, they started gangbanging. The drug trade had shifted from the East Coast to the West Coast. And so it just exploded like in one summer.
You would go to the streets and they were selling little bags of $5, $10, $20 crack cocaine. And so that explodes in the city of Los Angeles, and that is what killed the first phase of pure hip hop as we knew it from 1980 to 1984.
The other thing I noticed is that we shifted from sort of the happy, fun, up-tempo music to now the mixtapes that we were hearing were more about promoting drugs and crime and talking about the police and police brutality.
The baddest breakers that I knew ended up going out and slinging and showing up with their gazelles and their lowriders. They were making money like crazy. Hex, come and join us. I'm like, bro, this is not what hip hop is about, bro. Everything that we've been doing for the last few years had nothing to do with the drugs and the gangs that we came out from. So you guys are heading back?
The Run DMC show was the flashpoint, you know, from the perspective of a lot of people. You know, that was sort of like the linchpin that made people recognize and realize, whoa, this is something different here, you know, that's going on.
I was in that show with Run DMC here in Long Beach. Houdini wore red colors. They wore red leather and the cowboy hat, whatever, and somehow or another, this is what I heard. There's Crips in Long Beach. They're Crips, it's all blue. And when those guys came to Long Beach in red or whatever, the Crips are like, no, whatever. And somebody said something verbally. A gang war happened between the red and blue.
Long Beach. We did a big concert in Long Beach, and I was hosting it. And right when I was introducing a group, the group Houdini, I heard this loud thud, and I looked behind me, and someone had gotten thrown over the rails upstairs. And when they did that, it was almost like, you know, if it's a track meet and you hear the gun and you run. And so when that hit, it was like the gun starting the track meet.
They run up on stage to go look for LL Cool J with his red Kango. It turned into a major pandemonium, a major riot before the LAPD arrives. So many people got shot.
And so I asked the security guy that was on the stage, I said, look, you know, I got a couple of people with me out in the audience. Can you help me get to them so I can get them out of here? And he took off his security shirt. He says, man, they don't pay me enough to F with this. And he left.
Where's the fun? What is all this glass breaking and gunshots and knives and all that? I mean, that's traumatic, right? I didn't understand all that until later. And I realized very quickly, gangs were infiltrating the dance circles to meet rival gangs.
I get out to my car, and right next to my car is two Hispanic guys in one of the lowrider Cadillacs, and they were pulling two machine guns out of their trunk right next to me. And I'm like telling my friends, get in the car.
A lot of people got hurt that day, and it just made people rethink hip hop.
So as a radio station, 1580 KDAG, we decided to stop the music. And so for one day, we stopped the music. We got friends of mine, Run DMC, Barry White, who taught me a lot about the streets in LA. He came and got on the air with us. And we had other guests coming throughout the day. And we just stopped and talked, created a gang truce. And it did work for a while, but basically we were the only station at that time really giving them hip hop. So for them to not have their hip hop for one day, they stopped and listened.
After the Long Beach thing, we became very scrutinized of where we were going, because now LA changed. So we would go to house parties and we'd be dancing and people were like, get down, what? Bow, 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 oh my God. When is it gonna stop? When the police come?
After the Long Beach show, no venue would allow hip hop in Los Angeles. You could still probably do the skating rinks or some nightclubs, but it was just cut out everywhere.
So now you had to dress in black and Raiders hats, and everyone had Uzis on the streets back then, man. LAPD started busting like you wouldn't believe. The depression comes back to Los Angeles, a cloak of darkness over the whole city. And that was when I saw the whole culture dissolve right before my eyes.
That period of 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, where you had a rich and robust sort of burst of energy on the West Coast, it is significant because that was the engine that pushed us into the next era. I wish I could take people and put them in a time machine and transport them back then, because there was a healthy competition. It was a healthy amount of energy. It was a new birth of hip hop, and it's been sort of missed a lot in the translation from then to now.